Today we treat the copyright laws in Ghana topic. Imagine that you have developed something that is very new and never existed before. What would you expect? You expect that you would make profit from it in order to crown your effort. The more profit you get, the more you want to improve upon it, so that you would get more profit from it. How would you feel if someone steals your work or copies it and then sells it to others? It would be very painful and it would discourage you from continuing. That is why you need to be protected, so that you benefit fully from your labor. That is why every country has enacted copyright laws. In our lesson for this session, we will learn the definition of copyright law. We will also learn the definition for copyright infringement. We will consider some common copyright laws in our Ghanaian Copyright Act. We would consider the effects of breaking copyright laws. Let us consider some definitions of copyright. These are laws used to prevent the unauthorized duplication and sale of products like software, textbooks, artworks, and so on and so forth. What this definition tells us is that when a product has been produced by someone through his creativity or ingenuity, these laws are used to protect those products, so that people who have not used their intellect to come out with that product will not steal or find a sneaky way of making copies of that product and then selling them at the blind side of the person or organization that produced or that made that product. Another definition: these are laws enacted to grant producers to fully own and sell things they produce to others and prevent unauthorized duplication and sale by criminals. These are laws enacted to grant producers to fully own and sell things they produce to others and prevent unauthorized duplication and sale by criminals. Here, what this definition tells us is that, first of all, whatever a producer produces is recognized as that producer's rightfully owned property. It is something that belongs to him and him alone. If it is an organization, then it belongs to that organization and that organization alone. When it is seen as a property of that organization, then that organization or person have the right to then sell copies of that property to other people, because it is theirs and they choose what to do with it. So it gives them the right to first of all own their property, and then gives them the right to sell it to other people. These laws, as already explained to you, is also made to prevent people who do not own that property, who did not produce that property, or who do not have legal authority to have that property. These laws are used to prevent them from making copies and then selling them. Another definition is copyright gives authors and artists exclusive rights to duplicate, publish, and sell their property or materials. We're talking about properties. The property can be duplicated. But what we are saying is the duplication must be made by those who are legally and legitimately owners of that property, or who have been licensed to make duplicates of that product. These are laws that give the creators of literary, artistic, and software works the right to fully own the products they produce and sell them to people as long as they live and over a specified period of time after their death. Another definition: an exclusive legal right given to the originator or their assignee for a fixed number of years to publish, perform, film, or record literary, artistic, or musical material, and to authorize others to do the same. Here there's a new element. This means that the copyright owners can authorize people who are not the owners to make duplications and to also sell them. But if you've not been given the authorization to make duplications and sell, and you do so, then you are going against the copyright law. Products that copyright laws cover include creative work, intellectual property or work, scientific work, artistic work. And these, as have been enumerated, examples of them are sound recording, like music, and those that are being done by FM stations and so on. That is their broadcasting. What I'm even doing, if let's say I was only recording sound, then I can go for copyright and cover it so that no one can copy and sell. Then there are films like movies, or probably there could be a documentary. Those documentaries belong to the individuals or organizations that make them. Then we have photographs. Besides photographs, we also have architectural works, like people who design buildings. If there's a particular design made by someone, that becomes that person's property. That is intellectual property. Creative could be like dance performances, like paintings, and others. Then scientific here could be like these people who produce genetically modified crops or products. If I'm able to, through a research, come out with a new brand or make a change to a crop, then that becomes a scientific property, and that is covered under copyright laws. Then we have artistic. But let's move on to. Then artistic here includes dances, musical compositions. That is, if I'm able to compose music or develop a tune to music, or what some people say, is it a rhythm or something? So when you're able to do such things, copyright laws cover them. Then we, as I said, paintings and drawings, then as well as sculpture. Then radio and television broadcasts are also covered under copyright laws. Then we have poems, plays, research products, and others. They are all covered under copyright laws. Let us look at some copyright laws in Ghana. 1. The product that you want to go and make claim to, or for which you want to claim as your own property, before you make claim to it, 1, you should be a Ghanaian who is currently staying in Ghana. Before you can claim a product to be yours, then you must be someone who is currently staying in Ghana, or somebody who is a Ghanaian and also staying in Ghana. So it could be that you are not a Ghanaian, but you have produced something and you are living in Ghana. You can, according to the copyright law, you can go and seek copyright license or certificate to prove that you have produced or you have created that product. Then a second area under the law is that the copyright stays in place from the time of publication till the person dies. So let's say I have produced a book. From the time I publish the book till the time I die, that product or that book is covered. Once I go for copyright certificate or license, it is protected as my property. If it is that 2 or more people produced that product, let's say if I wrote a book with a couple of friends, then the copyright stays in place till the last co-author, that is, the last person who was part of the group of people who produced that product or produced that book or created that book, until that last person dies, then the copyright still stays in force. Successors of copyright owners who are properly named would enjoy the copyright for 70 years after the death of the copyright owner. Whilst the copyright owner is alive, he can appoint a successor, that is, a person or group of persons who would inherit the copyright after the owner's death. What the Ghanaian law says is that when people are given the right to inherit such products or such properties, they can own it for a number of 70 years. If that 70 years expires, it no more belongs to those successors, provided if they are alive by that time. Rather, it becomes a public property after that 70 years. Some of the products covered have already been explained to you earlier. So I gave you a list of products that are covered under copyright in our previous slide. As I explained, after the 70 years have expired, the product becomes public property. Folklore is covered under the trust of the President of Ghana. Folklore like our traditional songs, traditional folk tales and so on. The whole Ghana, whatever folklore there exists within certain cultures, they are all kept under the trust of our president. Therefore, no person can lay claim to it, and no person can go and rewrite or something like that without the authorization of our president. If you are caught, you could be sent to court. If you are not in Ghana, and let's say something that belongs to Ghanaians, you take it outside, you could be sued. But these things are not considered seriously anyway. But what we are saying is anything that is of cultural value are also copyright protected. Copyright owners can transfer their rights to another person or persons, but must be supported by a proper document of proof. That is, let's say I have produced a book and I decide that I want to give that, and I've gone for copyright license or certificate, and I want to pass on that copyright ownership to another person. It can be done, but it must be supported. There should be a document proving that copyright owner has given or has transferred his rights to that person or those people. If there is no document, then it is illegal. It is not considered as legally binding. Most often we even advise that if in case you want to transfer your copyright ownership to another person or persons, get lawyers involved. Let the lawyers draft the document that makes legal sense and it should be properly signed. Signatures must be appended by the owners, the lawyer, some witnesses, and the persons to whom the copyright is being transferred to. If you need to quote someone's work, you must state the name and the title of the product through citation. And this especially goes for those who do write-ups. If, let's say, you are going to quote what someone has said, or you are going to print a copy of what somebody has made in your material, let's say it's a picture, and you want to capture it in your material, you will need to recognize that it is this particular person who came out with it, and the title of that material should also be known. That is citation. If you don't, and the copyright owner finds out that you have used what he has said, or what he has designed, or what he has performed, or what he has enacted, or what he has produced in your document, then he or she can sue you. Copyrighted works can be used for teaching and illustration purposes, but they cannot be duplicated. What is being said here is, let's say I'm teaching, I can use some of the copyright contents to teach, but I cannot copy them and sell them. If, let's say, there's an illustration that buttresses a point, I can use that illustration, for instance, a figure or a graphic design, I can put it out there and to use it to explain whilst I'm teaching. But I cannot just go and copy and then, let's say, claim it as my own and sell to people or my students. It's not right. You can make copies of rightfully purchased products like music, movie, and software for backup. What the law says here is that if you go and buy a product like a CD containing music, CDs, they can be damaged, there could be scratches. So what the law allows you to do is for you to copy that whatever is contained on that CD. If it's a movie, you copy it and keep it, whilst you still have the original CD that you purchased with you. You don't give it to someone else, no. If you copy it, keep it, so that if someone comes and then he says you have violated copyright laws, then you can produce the original that you bought. Once you have the original product that you bought, then legally it is right for you to make backups. But that does not allow you to reproduce them for sale or reproduce them for other people for free. Copyright infringement. Any action that goes against the copyright laws of a country is considered as copyright infringement, or it can also be referred to as piracy. Any action that goes against the copyright laws of a country is considered as copyright infringement or piracy. It normally occurs when a copyrighted work is unlawfully duplicated, distributed, and acquired for either free or at a cost. That is, copyright infringement occurs when you unlawfully acquire a product that is copyrighted. Then you go and hide somewhere and you make copies of them and you keep them somewhere. That one goes against the copyright law. So you commit a copyright infringement. In the same way, if you copy someone's work and then you distribute, let's say you share it to people, either for free or you sell it to them, you also commit copyright infringement. In the same vein, if you also purchase a product that has been wrongfully duplicated, you also commit a copyright infringement. Let's say if you go to the street and someone holds a CD and that CD is duplicated, the person did not purchase it from the copyright owner or does not have the legal right to make copies of, and the person is selling in the street and you go and buy from that person, you have committed copyright infringement. How do we get a copyright license or certificate? First of all, you need to be very certain, beyond any reasonable doubt, that the work is truly yours. Before you walk up to any copyright office to lay claims to any product, make sure that it is you who really produced it. If you know it is not you who produced it, please don't make attempt, because if you are caught, you could spend time in jail, or you could be asked to pay huge amounts of money, because when you are deceiving public officials, that is illegal, that is a crime punishable by law in Ghana. In the same vein, you are stealing someone's product, so you commit a copyright infringement, and you can also be arrested, and whatever punishment there is could be applied to you. Then once you are sure that it is yours, you must make 2 copies of that work or product and present it to the Copyright Office. Copyright offices are located in the various regions. The ones I know very well are those in Accra and Kumasi. I don't know. I think the other regions too have offices. So you make copies of that product and then you send them to the Copyright Office. If you don't know, you should also ask. Go to the regional offices, that is regional coordinating council offices. You ask them, probably they can direct you to their copyright offices. Then after you've sent the copies, you would be required to pay some money. The money is not that much. It's not so huge, but it is revised according to law. I think on a yearly basis or on a certain period basis. So you pay the amount. Then after you have paid the amount, you would be asked to wait for a certain period of time, because first of all, the copyright officers would have to go through all their materials that they have in their custody to make sure that what you are bringing is not someone's own. So when they are certain that doesn't belong to any person, then they can issue you with the certificate or license to prove that whatever you sent to them is truly yours, and the certificate proves it. Now it makes it legally binding on everybody else not to lay claim to it or not to make a duplicate or sell it without your authorization. Copyright can be sought. Copyright can be sought either before or after the publication or display of a work. That is, if, let's say, I have written a book, I can publish it, and after publication I can send it to copyright office for them to issue me with that certificate, or I can go for the certificate before I publish it. In the same way, if it is a play or music or something else, you can publish them before, or before you go for copyright, or after the publication you can go for copyright. Some copyright infringements include unlawful copying of software. Software, here we are referring to proprietary software. Sometimes there are software that are free to use, but for proprietary software they are licensed. So if you make a copy of such software without permission from the copyright owners, then you commit a copyright infringement. If you need to make a copy of, then you should first of all have the original. You should have purchased the original. If you have the original, then you can make a backup of it. But if you don't have the original and then you go and copy from someone, you are committing copyright infringement. Most softwares are copyrighted. Unauthorized copying of documents, books, graphical works, music, and movies. Documents, for instance, if let's say the Bank of Ghana has some documents and those documents are copyrighted, and you sneak in and make copies of that document, you are committing copyright infringement. Any document that belongs to a legally licensed or registered organization, those documents are their property and they are recognized as their copyrighted documents. So you can't go and make duplicates of them unless you have a tacit approval from the management or something. In the same vein, if someone has written his book and you go and make a photocopy of that book, you are committing copyright infringement. Similarly, graphical works like someone's painting, someone's sculpture or something, if you go and make a copy of it without approval from the copyright owner, you commit a copyright infringement or piracy. This is where most Ghanaians are found wanting in terms of copyright infringement. That is the illegal copying and should I say sale of music and movies. Your friends has purchased a music CD then you go and take that music CD and you burn it. You are committing a copyright infringement. If, let's say, you don't even burn it, but you copy it onto your computer, you are committing copyright infringement. The same way, if it's a movie and you go and copy without purchasing it or having a legal permission from the copyright owners, and you go and copy them, you commit copyright infringement. If you have a copy, let's say you have bought a copy of it, and you allow other people to copy it or make a duplicate of it, you yourself, you are committing copyright infringement. And those people you give those products to are also committing copyright infringement. Okay, so if you go to someone's computer and there are certain movies on it, there are certain movies, music on it, and you go and slot in, yes, let's say your external hard disk, or maybe your pen drive or whatever storage medium, and you copy it, you are committing copyright infringement. What I'm also recognizing now these days is you go to YouTube and you find people's music uploaded over there. If it is the copyright owners who put them there by themselves, no problem. If you have permission from them to copy them onto YouTube, no problem. And you also go there, you find Ghanaian movies, copyrighted movies. You go there and you notice that people have uploaded onto YouTube those movies. If, as I said, those uploadings are being done with permission from the copyright owners, then no problem. However, if you don't have their permission and you upload them onto YouTube or any other website, you are committing copyright infringement. If they are able to trace it to you that you did the uploading, you can be sent to court for committing copyright infringement or piracy. Sale of unlawfully duplicated products, as given above, is also considered as copyright infringement. Let's say if you go and duplicate someone's work and then you sell them, you are committing copyright infringement. If you also accept and then you purchase unlawfully acquired products, you are also committing copyright infringement. Therefore, if you go to the street and people are selling CDs and those CDs are made or copied illegally or unlawfully without permission from the copyright owners, and you go and buy them from those people who sell them, you are committing copyright infringement as well. Copying of copyrighted works from a network or from the internet without authorization is also committed as copyright infringement or piracy. If you go on, let's say your organizations, your computers are connected, okay, within your organization, and you copy something from someone's computer, if that product is copyright protected, it does not matter whether it is on someone's machine. No, once it is on a network and it belongs to the organization, and you go and make a copy of it, you are infringing on the copyright of the owners. If you go to the net and you also find illegal means of copying people's work, like softwares, graphical designs, people's books that they have written, if it is not a free material but they are copyrighted and you find means to steal them or make a copy of them, you are also committing copyright infringement and you are liable for suit. You can be sued in court. Posting copyrighted works online without permission is also considered as copyright infringement. I think I have already explained this one to you. You don't have the right, even if you purchase one, you don't have the right to upload it online. It is the right of the people who own it to upload it. You don't. If you want to load it, you need to get to the copyright owners, ask them permission. If they allow you, then you upload. If they do not, you don't have the right to do so. Effects of breaking copyright laws. One effect is the person who commits the copyright infringement can be or could be imprisoned depending on the gravity of your crime. You could be imprisoned, and of course that will be determined by a court of competent jurisdiction, okay, either by magistrate, judge, or justice. So once it is determined that you have offended the copyright of someone, and if the judge or magistrate or court of, magistrate or judge or justice notices that your crime is that high, you could be imprisoned. So they determine as whether you will be imprisoned or not. Or you could be asked to pay a fine. Okay, you could be asked to pay a fine. As I said, depending on the gravity of your crime, the extent to which you have committed the crime will determine the kind of punishment that could be meted out to you. Sometimes you may be both imprisoned and asked to pay a fine. As I'm saying all these things, these are stated in the copyright law of Ghana. Another effect is that when someone creates a work and you illegally copy those works and you go and sell it, you tend to discourage such people to come out with new things. Okay, so if I make something and you go and make a copy and you sell to people without me benefiting, be the copyright owner or I who developed it or who created it, I'm supposed to benefit from it and I don't benefit from it. I will be discouraged. Therefore, I will not be I'll not have the zeal to make more of that product for the public, or I'll not be even encouraged to create new things, bring up new other things that had not existed. So you don't need to break copyright laws, because it is through the inventions of people that we are having all these wonderful things around us. Even laptops, computers, and all the other ones are out of someone's creativity. Therefore, if you go and you use illegal means or illegitimate means to copy and sell, you are discouraging the ones who made those products. Then you also deprive the owners of resources they need to produce more. If someone produces a product and he copyrights it, in order to make more of that product for other people to get access to them and use, then he needs, or he or she needs, or if it's an organization, the organization needs to accrue some resources in terms of financial revenue. Okay, he or she or they would have to get some money. Then out of that money, they can produce more of that product for others who do not have access to such products. But if you go and hide somewhere and you make a duplicate, sometimes even it's not like the original. You make fake products of the original and you go and sell. You notice that the people who produce it will not get the money to produce more original for other people. Therefore, you deprive them. And that is not good at all for us in our society. Alright, so we come to the end of this lesson. We have discussed what copyright laws are. We have discussed some of the laws in Ghana. We have discussed some of the products that the copyright laws of Ghana cover. We have also discussed how you can get a copyright license or certificate. We also discussed the effects of copyright infringement. We also talk about copyright infringement or piracy as well. I would like to give you an assignment. You can go online, go to Google and search for the copyright law of Ghana. There's a PDF version of it online. You can make a duplicate, you can download it and then read through. What I've given you is just a brief, some sort of a skeleton of information on what the copyright law says. But if you want detailed information about the copyright laws, then search for the Copyright Act of Ghana, forgotten the year of enactment. But you go there and you search for it, you find it and then read through it to get more information. It's very detailed. For want of time and for purposes of your studies, that is why I have restricted it to this content. We shall bring our lesson to a close here. You can go to Facebook and search for GHSHSICT tutorial. If you have any questions, you leave them there. I shall attend to them. If you have any contributions as to how we can make our lessons better, you can also put them there. We shall look at them and then we would improve. Besides Facebook, you can also leave your comments on at the comment area of YouTube, which is the place where you are watching this. So we call it a day. Have a nice time.